What up YouTube, J-Dub here, and thank you again for tuning in for another video. So today, I got something a little bit more complicated for you guys. I'm not sure if it's going to work, so we're going to find out, but I'm pretty sure this is what's going on, okay? So we're doing the reverse taillight LED swap, like I have been doing with all my other lights, but unfortunately, I fear that the lights aren't just blown. I feel like the actual reverse sensor switch, which is on the transmission, is shot. So we're going to replace that today, which is a little bit more in depth, but I'm going to walk you through it, what we got to do. So let's get into it. All right, guys. So basically, my backup lights haven't been working, so I need to switch out the bulbs because they're pretty nasty looking, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in a minute. But the big thing is I want to show you guys how to remove the battery, or not the battery, sorry. Let's just try that again. Take two. The reverse light switch. Okay, so basically what there's a switch that sits in the transmission that senses. It's basically a sensor, and it senses when you put the vehicle in reverse, and that was in turn what turns your backup lights on. So let's take a look at what we're looking at here. All right, guys. So this is basically what the reverse light switch is. Now I'm going to go ahead and say I don't know if the manual transmission one is different than the automatics. But this is basically what it is. It's just a sensor that sits on top of the transmission, and that's basically what decides, or it senses when you're in reverse, which is what kicks your reverse lights on. All right, so I'm going to show you what we got to do to get to it. All right, guys, to get to this sensor, this switch here, it basically sits right there on top of the transmission. You can see it right there. Right there it is on top of the transmission. I've already disconnected the electrical plug there, so that shouldn't be too hard. The next thing you gotta do is, I'm not saying there's not a way to get it out without removing the battery and the battery tray, but in my personal opinion, it's gonna be the easiest way. So what you gotta do, you gotta undo your battery posts, or your terminals there. Mine were 10 millimeter, they should be 10 millimeter for you, and remove the battery. After that, you have to remove the battery tray. In order to do this, you have 5 bolts you have to take out. There's one there, which look like these. I've already done it, but that's what they are. Those were 10 millimeter. And then these here, there, and there. And that's what these were. These were also 10 millimeter. And then you got to take out this big one right there, okay? And that's what this looked like. And that was a 13. So after you take all those out, you should just be able to pull this up and get it out of the way. All right. Bam. Put that to the side. Okay, so now we can get access to the plug here, okay? So I'm going to use a big extension, and I'll be back with you in a second. All right, guys, so this is what I'm basically using. It's a 22 millimeter. It's a big one, guys, but it just barely fits down onto the sensor there. And basically, you're going to give it a nice crack, and it should come out pretty easily, which I think it's going to. So let's take the socket off and see if we can just manually turn that. All right, guys, so this is the old plug. I was able to basically, once I got the initial bolt unsnug, it came out by hand, just turning with the extension I had. Okay, so you probably should test this before you actually pull it out, but I'm almost about 90% positive this is the problem. So I'm taking the chance of throwing a part at it, even though I know that's a big no-no. But I did notice on some inspection here, definitely think I got a valve cover leaking in the back here. So we're going to have to change out the valve cover gasket at some point here. So that'll be a new video when I get to it. So let's go ahead and put the new one in. I assume it's going to be just about as simple as taking the old one out. Just got to get it lined up there first. Get the thread started. All right. See if I can do it with one free hand. Alright guys, so I was able to get it started, and I'm going to get that hand tight. Now I'm going to take my extension again. Just going to put that right over top of that. Okay. I'm going to get my ratchet here. Switch it over. Okay, and we're going to tighten that up snug. I'm not going to over tighten it. All right, guys, so I got that all hooked back up now, and basically you're gonna want to test it. So I wouldn't put all that back together until you test the backup lights, which if you need to do that, all you got to do is turn the key to the on position, but do not start it. Put the transmission in reverse, and they should light up. So I'm pretty sure this worked, so we're going to go ahead and put back this battery tray in the battery and get everything tightened back up again. So we'll go to the back, and I'll show you how to change out bulbs. Alright guys, so I got the battery tray and the battery back in place. Everything's good and tight. So now we're going to head to the back of the car and do the bulbs. Alright guys, we're at the back of the car now. So basically what we're going to do, okay, so the bulb is, this is the main bulb right there. And this is the reverse light bulb. I've already taken that bulb out, and I'll show you the other one. But that's the new LED. Okay, slightly longer than the stock light. I believe it is a 921. That is the stock light, I believe. Hold on a second here. Let me get this pulled out of here for you. Okay, so here's the LED. And here's the stock light. So just a pinch longer, but these are pretty deep housings, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. But you can see that bulb is all kinds of blown. Okay, so what we need to do is, this is a twist pull. Again, here's the problem though. This thing sits way deep in there, So see if I can get a light shining in there. You can see what I'm talking about. See, it's right there. It's way in there. And I know I had an absolute bear of a time trying to get it out. So what I'm going to recommend is to actually change out, to just take out the whole housing. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead and replace this bulb. And show you the difference between the LED and the incandescent. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. So that's installed. Here's the LED. Way bright. Super bright. And here's the incandescent. Nowhere near as bright. And this is also more of a white light. It's a lot brighter. This one's just a standard warm glow white. I like the LED better. It definitely will make it easier to see me when I'm out somewhere. And obviously safety is the name of the game. So I'm going to show you guys how to remove the taillight housing to replace that bulb on this side. Okay, so let's do it. All right, guys, so in order to remove the taillight housing, you're going to have to remove these little caps right here, okay? And there's three of them. One there, one on the other side there, and then one at the bottom, which I've already taken off. And you got to be careful with these. These are really cool because they're really easy to get a hold of as far as getting them off. But they're just little caps with threads on them, so you don't want to over tighten them, and you don't want to be too hasty getting them off there. So let's do that now. These are a 13, so Easy to get them off. Got to be careful. Their wiring harnesses there is just kind of hooked onto the side there, so you don't want to pull that off. Once this is about, I don't know, a little bit more than halfway, they come off by hand pretty easily. Next thing I do, I'm going to twist this main light out. I'm going to pull that out, and then we're just barely going to pull this out. There we go. I push from the inside. You gotta be careful with these little fins and stuff because you don't want to break these. You want this light to seal as much as possible when it's all said and done so nothing gets up in there, okay? So next what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this this switch out, which, like I said, you gotta get the red tab. I don't know if you'll be able to see me do it on camera because you just pull the switch off, okay? And that leaves you with the socket way down in there. It is a royal pain in the ass to get that socket out, guys. So I think it's easier just to pull the whole housing, though it's done. I'm gonna leave the insulation here. Let's see if I can do it by hand this time. No. All right, so I will have to do what I did last time, guys. I had to get a pair of pliers and gently, actually evenly distribution on the sides, twist that to where it comes out. You don't want to twist too hard because you don't want to break the housing, but at the same time, you know, you got to get it out. So we're going to do, like I said, we're going to have to play with it now for a minute. All right, so we got it out, guys. See that little piece cracked right there? Damn it. But it's out. You got to turn it counterclockwise. When it's sitting down like that, you got to turn it counterclockwise to get it out. And it's not going to move much, just a little bit. And you'll notice when putting this back in, how there is one larger square on the bottom. That's going to be your indicator. It only goes in one way. So here's the larger square on the bottom. Here's the smaller one on top, okay? So let's go ahead and switch that out with the LED, and yeah. All right, I just got done testing it. It works. So now we're gonna pull the light back off, and okay, and we're gonna reinstall that on the housing. So we're gonna match up the big square with the bottom. Alright guys, so that's back in there now and it is secured. Remember, when you go to put it back in, it doesn't take much. It's almost barely a quarter turn just to get that back in there. And that thing's not going anywhere. It's in there. So now we're going to rehook up all of our bulbs and we're going to put the housing back in and screw it down. Alright, so it's back in there. You want to make sure on the bottom here that fin, which is all part of the housing, goes above that lip. You don't want that on the other side. Everything's nice and even. So now we're going to go ahead and put our caps back on. I'm not sure what you technically call these, but alright. I don't want to make sure I don't get the ground there. I want to make sure that that's free hanging just fine. Okay, 13. Remember, you want these tight, but you don't want them exceedingly tight because it will, I feel like they would break pretty easily or separate from the housing. You just want them snug. Okay. And now that's all in. So let's check it out, guys. So much yes. I love it. These are super bright, guys. Now, if you're wondering where I got these, I got them from LED, superbrightleds.com. Here's the part number if you want it, I guess. There you go. Upside down. Yeah. All right, so that's what I got. If you were looking for the part number for the switch, there it is. Now, once again, I don't know if the switch is the same for automatics as it is manual transmission. Mine is a manual transmission. I would think they would be the same, but don't hold me on that. Just visit your local parts store, and I'm not even sure if it's in the same location on the transmission. Once again, I would think it's pretty close, but I'm not 100% sure. But that is basically switching out a reverse light switch, and also changing out your LED or your bulbs with LEDs, guys, for the reverse lights. And they're much brighter, which is going to make more safe for you in parking lots and stuff, especially during the day. And yeah. Hey, one quick thing I wanted to add to this video before I'm done here, and that is you really want to make sure before you do anything, if you don't have any reverse lights, the first thing you want to do is check the fuse. It's a number 7 fuse on an 02 Dodge Neon. It would not surprise me if a fuse blows. It happens. I think it's a 10 amp fuse, but check the fuse first. Unless, of course, you want to switch these out to LED, and then, of course, you can do what you want to do. But check the fuse first before you go and do all the hassle of switching out that reverse light switch. It's not an uncommon part to go out on any random car, but, you know, just saying, it's a lot of hassle for some that could have been fixed with 25 cents. So, anyway, next video, guys, I got a big thing for you. Something I've never tried before, so we're going to see what happens. See you next video.